All I want is a boyfriend. I remember crying out loud to my mom. All I wanted was for a boy to look at me and find me attractive. I wanted someone to look at me the way Edward looked at Bella. And I wanted someone who would kill himself for me the way Romeo did for Juliet. And I wanted someone who could swing me around like Johnny did with Baby. All these movies portrayed love as this vital magic that you needed before you could be truly happy. And it seemed like once you found a guy that, first of all, had to be the hottest, most mysterious guy at school, it was a relationship for life. I mean, you are pretty much ready to get married at the age of 18 at that point, according to the movies that I grew up with. And your first love had to be your last. I was so desperate to find that magic, until I realized that it was a curse. I was so lucky to receive, for all of 2 months, this magic. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been so happy in my life at the time. I had butterflies and all of that. And everything felt just right. I found my soulmate just like in all the movies. And then he broke up with me. And I found out that he had tried to cheat on my best friend the night before he broke up with me. One thing is to never have tried to feel desirable. And that comes with a huge lack of confidence, may I add. Another is to have felt it and then have it taken from you because it turned out that you weren't good enough anyway for him. Of course, it's no fun to be the one who we're broken up with, and obviously that hurted a lot, but the unbearable pain was that I felt like I would never be enough to anyone. And that is very dramatic, I am aware of that, but sadly it was quite true. A long time passed, and I got out with all my frustration through training and working out like hell. I worked so hard on my physical appearance because it had to be it. The thing that I missed to be found desirable. It made sense. All the girls in my friend group had these insane bodies, and was swimming in guys. So I lost a lot of weight and slowly started to gain something I did not expect, which was confidence. However, it felt like the only one thing noticing that change was me, because there was still a huge lag in the line of Prince Charmings. I've always worked hard in school, but these days I worked even harder. I worked my ass off, to say the least. So my Saturday nights were often spent in my pajamas and a messy bun featuring a cup of tea and live performance after live performance by me and a lot of schoolwork. Because I didn't spend time on guys because that wasn't a factor in my life, so I studied a lot instead. And yet I felt like I was missing something in my life, which was money. So I decided to get a job. First of all, go to a job interview as a mentor for students with school difficulties. And I loved it ever since. I quickly signed up to 3 students, and being somebody and helping people was something that made me feel important and needed. I loved the amount of trust they had in me and the responsibility that I was handed. I loved working there, and I still do to this day. So when I was offered a job as a cleaning lady, of course I said yes. And when I was contacted from another student who needed help, I couldn't say no. And I still work for my dad from time to time. I've never been in a better shape. Had I had one dream job and then 3 other jobs, I had amazing friends around me, and my school was working out quite well for me at this point. And then sent to me from Lord himself, I was handed the interest of a guy. And things went very quickly. But he was so cute. I felt like I had everything I have ever wanted and needed. I felt like someone had a desire for me and wanted me. And then I broke up with him. I mean, he was a sweet guy and all, but I just realized that even though he was a sweet guy, he just wasn't the one for me. And he wanted me to change, which was a commitment I was not ready to make at this point. And it was then that I realized that all this time I've worked so hard on myself to become a better version of me than I used to be, so I could get the recognition I so desperately was seeking from guys before. I wanted so badly for someone to fall in love with me. When the only person who really needed to fall in love with me was myself. And now I am as happy as ever, as the only single in a close-knitted friend group, working 4 jobs, slaying my education, and is currently in the best physical shape I've ever been. I am as busy as I have ever been, because when you are your own boss at the age of 18, you don't have time for a significant other. At least I don't. And trust me, it's hard to find a significant other at the age of 18. Besides, you do not need to find your significant other at this age like these movies portrayed for me when I was growing up. Think about how many people actually stay together with their first love, or their second, or their third for that matter. It's not that many people. It's very rarely that it actually happens. This is the age where you're supposed to deal with fuck-ups, instead of makeups and breakups. And most important of all, I learned to love myself from top to bottom and enjoy my own company. All those nights of studying really paid off because I learned myself to know, and I learned to have a great time in my own company, which is important, and many people find it quite silly, but I don't mind being at home. I don't mind staying at home, having a great pamper night, treating myself. The right guy comes around at some point, but you have to stick with yourself for the rest of your life. You need to desire, want, and love yourself before anybody else can do it. The single life is about figuring out who you are and really get to know yourself. It is more than okay to be single, it's actually fucking amazing. So I broke my curse.